Once again, I welcome you all to the new session of our English online class. Today, we are going to learn a new topic in English grammar. Before that, let's listen a story.
This is Rohan. One day, Rohan's teacher told him, "The principal is happy with your performance." Rohan was very happy after hearing this. So, he went back home and told his mother, "The teacher said to me, the principal is happy with your performance." Now, hearing this, Rohan's little sister has confused. When Rohan said, "The principal is happy with your performance," what does he mean? Is the principal happy with mother's performance or brother's performance? Then Rohan clarifies his little sister. "The teacher told me that the principal was happy with my performance."
These are the two different ways Rohan stated what the teacher told him. In the first case, Rohan is telling what the teacher told him exactly. He is quoting the teacher's words in the same way. But in this case, Rohan is telling the teacher said to him in other words. He is not using the exact words of the teacher, but he is stating it without changing the meaning of what the teacher said. So, this method is called direct speech and this method is called indirect speech. This method is called direct speech and this method is called indirect speech. So, there are two ways of reporting the speech of a person. First, we may report the actual words used by the speaker. Look at the sentences. The girl says, "This is my school." He said, "Mohan is reading a novel." In these sentences, actual words of the speaker are given within inverted commas without any changes. This way of reporting the exact words of the speaker is called direct speech. Now listen the other way to report the substance of the speaker. The girl says that is her school. He said that Mohan was reading a novel. In these sentences, the actual words of the speaker have not been reported. Instead, the substance of his word has been used. This way of reporting is called indirect speech.
Reporting speech. What someone has said, that is speech, can be reported in two ways: direct speech and indirect speech. Direct speech is speech that is directly reported word for word without any changes. It appears within double quotes. For example, the teacher said, "I have been teaching English for the last 10 years." Here, the actual words of the speaker are given within inverted commas without any change. This way of reporting the exact words of the speaker is called direct speech. Indirect speech is a form of third person narration presented with some grammatical modifications and not word for word. It does not appear within double quotes. For example, the teacher said she had been teaching English for the last 10 years. In this sentence, the actual words of the speaker have not been reported, but only the substance of these words has been given. This way of reporting is called indirect speech. While we change a direct speech into indirect speech, we want to follow some rules. For that, first we identify the reporting verbs and reported speech. Listen to the sentence. The boy says, "This is my school." Second one, she said, "I have done my work." In the above sentences, the verb say or said, which comes before inverted commas, it is called a reporting verb. Normally, said to, said, say to, and says to belongs to the reporting verb. While we change this reporting verb into indirect speech, said to changed into told, said remains the same, say to changed into tell, and says to changed into tells.
Difference between said and told. Sometimes while we report a sentence into indirect speech, we use told instead of said. The reporting verb told is used when the receiver of the information is mentioned, and the reporting verb served is used when the receiver of the information is not mentioned. In direct speech, there is a comma after the reporting verb and the quotation marks open before the speaker's actual words and close after the punctuation mark at the end of the dialogue. So, while we change this sentence into indirect speech, we should remove comma and inverted commas and add the conjunction that.
The inverted commas of the direct speech have been removed in the indirect speech. After change the reporting verb into indirect speech, the inverted commas of the direct speech should be removed in the indirect speech. Next, the conjunction that has been added in the indirect speech. For example, he said, I am reading a book. Here, the reporting verb is said. So, the answer is he said. Then we remove the comma and inverted commas and add the conjunction that. So, he said that he is reading a book.
The pronouns and possessive adjectives also changed while we convert direct speech into indirect speech. The pronouns of the first person changed into the gender and person of the subject of the reporting verb. The pronouns of the second person changed into the gender and person of the object of the reporting verb. The pronouns of the third person do not change. Now, let's listen the changes of pronouns in detail.
There are some changes in personal pronouns and possessive pronouns while we change a sentence into indirect speech. We know the personal pronouns are of three kinds: first person, second person, and third person. First person singular is I and the plural is we. The objective case of I is me and the possessive case of my. The objective case of we as the possessive case is our. You is the second person pronoun. The objective form of you is you and the possessive case is your. Third persons are he, she, they and it. The objective form of he is him, the possessive case is his. She, the objective form of her and the possessive case is her. They, the objective form of they is them, the possessive case is their. The objective case of it is it and the possessive case is its. Changing pronouns in reported speech. Pronouns of the first person in the reported speech are changed into the person of the subject of the reporting verb. Pronouns of the first person in the reported speech are changed into the person of the subject of the reporting verb. Pronouns of the second person change into the person and gender of the object of the reporting verb. Pronouns of the third person do not change in indirect speech. It remains in the same way. The first person singular I changed into he or she based on the gender. The first person plural we changed into they. Second person you changed into he or she or they based on the number and gender. Possessive pronouns might change into his or her, our changed into their, your changed into his or her or their. The objective form of me changed into him or her, us changed into them, you changed into him or her or them based on the number and gender. Mine changed into his or hers, ours changed into theirs, yours changed into his or hers or theirs. For example, first persons in report speech. I is the singular form and we is the plural form. He said to me, I want new clothes. While we change into reported speech, the answer is he told me that he wanted new clothes. While we change I into indirect speech, it is changed based on the person of the subject of the reporting verb. Second one, they said to me, we have done your work. Here, we change into they based on the person of the subject of the reporting verb. We is the plural form in first person, so we use they as it is the plural form in third person. Second person pronouns in reported speech. I said to her, you can't help me. The answer is, I told her that she could not help me. Here, second person change into the person and gender of the object of the reporting verb. In the above sentence, her is the object of the reporting verb. So, we use she in place of her. The pronouns of the third person do not have any change. I say to you, he is honest. I tell you that he is honest. There is no change. The pronouns remains the same. Second one, he said to me, she is a naughty girl. He told me that she was a naughty girl.
Change of adverbs denoting time and place. While converting a sentence from direct to indirect speech, the adverbs denoting time and place are changed. That is, those words expressing nearness are generally changed into words expressing distance.
Change in time. An expression of time in direct speech must be changed to fit in with the time of reporting. Expression of time if reported on a different day. For example, this changed into that. That means this evening, that evening. Today, yesterday. These days, those days. Now, then. Ago, before. That means a week ago, a week before. Last weekend, the weekend before last, or the previous weekend. Here, there. Next, the following. Next week, the following week. Tomorrow, the next day, or the following day. For example, today's breakfast is mouth-watering, she said. While we change this sentence into indirect speech, the answer will be, she said, yesterday's breakfast was mouth-watering. Today changed into yesterday.
Changes of the tense in report speech. When the reporting verbs are in the present tense or in the future tense, the tense of the main verb does not change.
If the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, the tense of the verb is not changed in the reported speech. For example, the teacher says the exams will begin on Monday. Here, the reporting verb is in the present tense, that is says. So, the tense of the verb is not changed in the reported speech. So, the answer will be, the teacher says that the exams will begin on Monday. Next one, she will say dinner is ready. Here, will say represent the future tense. So, there is no change in the reported speech. She will say that dinner is ready.
If the reporting verb is in the past tense, the verb in the reported speech is also changed into past tense. That means simple present tense change into past simple, present continuous changes into past continuous, present perfect changes into past perfect, and simple past changes into past perfect, past continuous changes into past perfect continuous. Now, let's listen the changes of tense in detail.
While reporting present tense, simple present tense change into simple past, present continuous tense change into past continuous, present perfect tense change into past perfect, present perfect continuous change into past perfect continuous. Simple present tense change into simple past. For example, Raju said, I learned English. I learned English is in the form of present simple. The answer is, Raju said that he learned English. The past form of learn is learned. Here we followed all the rules. First we write reporting sentences. That means Raju said, then removed comma and invert comma and add conjunction that. Then I changed into the third person. He. Learn changed into the past form learned and the remaining English. So the answer is Raju said that he learned English. Now look at another sentence. Raju said to her, I go to college today. Here, said to followed by a receiver. So, said to changed into told. So, Raju told her that. Then we removed comma and invert commas. I changed into the third person he. Go changed into its past form went to college. Today changed into that day. So, the answer is Raju told her that he went to college that day. Present continuous tense is changed into past continuous tense. Example, Lara said, I am learning English now. Here I am learning indicate the present continuous. It changed into past continuous. Laura said that she was learning then. I am changed into was. Next one, they said to Laura, we are learning English. They told Laura that they were learning English. Am changed into was and are changed into were. Present perfect tense change into past perfect tense. That means has and have changed into had. For example, Laura said, I have learned English already. Laura said that she had learned English already. They said to her, we have learned English. They told her that they had learned English. So, have and have changed into had in perfect tense. Present perfect continuous tense change into past perfect continuous tense. That means have been changed into had been. Have been indicate the present perfect continuous and had been indicate the past perfect continuous. For example, Vinod said, I have been learning English since October 2017. The answer is Vinod said that he had been learning English since October 2017. Second one, Lara said to Vinod, I have been learning English for 6 months. The answer is Lara told Vinod that she had been learning English for 6 months. Here, have been changed into had been. The present tense can be used in indirect speech to say that something is still true and also to talk about a future event. For example, he said, my name is Sam. While we change this true into indirect speech, the answer will be he said his name is Sam. There will not be any change in tense form. If the reporting verb is a universal truth or habitual action, there will not be any change in the tense. Teacher said the earth revolves the sun. It's a general truth. The answer will be teacher said that the earth revolves the sun. Then he said, I smoke cigarette regularly. It's a habitual action. He said that he smokes cigarette regularly. So there is no change in tense while the speaker says a universal truth or habitual action. Changes of reporting verb in past. Simple past change into past perfect tense. Past continuous change into past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense will not have any change in reporting. Simple past tense change into past perfect. That means V2 form of the verb changed into had plus V3. Raju said, I learned English. Answer is Raju said that he had learned English. Past form verb changed into past perfect. That means had plus V3 form. Another sentence, Raju said to her, I went to college yesterday. Raju told her that he had gone to college the previous day. Past continuous tense change into past perfect continuous tense. That means was or were plus ing form verb changed into had been plus ing form verb. Example, Raju said, I was learning English at this time yesterday. Answer is Raju said that he had been learning English at that time the previous day. Another example, Lara said to Raju, I was learning English when you called me. Answer, Lara told Raju that she had been learning English when I had called her. Modal verbs in direct speech sometimes change when used in indirect speech. Will changes into would, can changes into could, may changes into might, shall changes into should, must changes into had to. But could, would, should, might and ought to in direct speech does not change when used in indirect speech. They remain the same way. For example, Amal said Ram can swim well. The answer is Amal said that Ram could swim well. Can change into could. Next one, the teacher said he will not pass. The teacher said that he would not pass. Will change into would.
There are some changes while reporting an interrogative sentence. The reporting verb said is changed into asked and the interrogative form changed into assertive form. If the question is introduced with an interrogative word like who, what, where, which, etc., no conjunction is added. Instead of that conjunction, we can use that interrogative word.
For example, he said to me, "Where are you going?" Answer, he asked me where I was going. While we changed the interrogative sentence into reported speech, the said to changed into asked and the interrogative word where is used instead of the conjunction that. Second one, I said to him, "Why have you come back?" I asked him why he had come back.
If the interrogative sentence begins with an auxiliary verb, we can use if or whether as conjunction.
For example, Raju said, "Do you learn English?" Here, the sentence starts with the auxiliary verb do. So, we used if or whether instead of the conjunction that. The answer will be Raju asked whether I learned English. Second one, Raju said to her, "Are you alright?" Raju asked her if she was alright. All other changes that we learned before.
When the speaker gives a command or request, the reporting verb said changed into requested or commanded or suggested and add to in place of the conjunction that.
We use request and command in an imperative sentence. An imperative sentence may be a request, advice, order, or suggestion. So, said to will change to any one of the following. That means said to may be requested, ordered, advised, suggested, commanded, forbade, etc. For example, doctor said to the patient, "Quit smoking." Here, instead of said to, we add advised and in place of the conjunction that we use to. So, the answer is doctor advised the patient to quit smoking. Another sentence, Raju said to her, "Consult a doctor." Raju advised her to consult a doctor.
Now, let's revise the topic that we learned today.
Speech can be reported in two ways, direct and indirect speech. In direct speech, there is no change in the verb tenses. However, in indirect speech, the verb tenses usually change. Modal verbs in direct speech sometimes change when used in indirect speech. The present tense can be used in indirect speech to say that something is still true, talk about a future event. An expression of time in direct speech must be changed to fit in with the time of reporting. The common reporting verbs in indirect speech are said, told, and asked. Some rules while changing direct speech into indirect speech. First, a reported speech is always written in past tense. A reported speech is always written in third person. When the speaker asks a question which can only be answered in yes or no, add if or whether. That means if the question starts with an auxiliary verb, add if or whether instead of the conjunction. When the speaker speaks a sentence, add that as the conjunction. When the speaker gives command or request, add to. When the speaker asks a questions like what, where, how, when, you, etc., replace said with asked. Do not change the dialogue into past tense if it is a universal truth.
I hope you all understood that we have discussed today. Today itself, you should watch the video over and over and learn the concept. So, thank you.